Changing our habits can be quite an undertaking and a frustrating one at that. But every habit is built the same way, from drinking water when you wake up to where you leave your keys every time you walk into your place. There are 3 ingredients that you're going to need to make any habit stick. If you can set up these 3 things, you can change any behavior that you want. Find out how in this video. Hey, I'm Ivana. Welcome to my channel where I talk about how to apply the science of habits to design the life that you want. If you need some help figuring out how to be more actionable with change, you're in the right place. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok if you want to digest this material in different ways, or if you just want to see more of me, you can follow me on there. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like and comment on this video, and let's dive in. It can be very exhausting and defeating trying to change our behavior. We know what we want to be doing, we know what we need to be doing, but it's a lot harder to make the right stuff stick than it actually looks. It seems like the habits that we don't like are popping up like weeds, and the ones that we actually want to build are barely taking root. How are we accidentally building habits that we don't even want, yet we're struggling to make something that we want with intention barely a thing? Strangely enough, every habit is set up with the same structure. Whether it's your habit of drinking water first thing in the morning or not putting the dishes in the dishwasher, the setup is the same. Some parts of it might be obvious to us, while other parts might not be. Every habit will have 3 components. It'll have a prompt, an action, and a reward, which form a sequence called the habit loop. The prompt triggers the action leads to the reward, and the reward feeds back to the prompt, and this is how we develop cravings. The first part, the prompt, is what gives us the signal that it's go time to do the habit. A prompt could be very simple, such as I hear my phone buzz, it's time to go grab my phone. Very straightforward. A prompt can also develop after consistently showing us the same outcome. If every time the phone buzzed and I looked at my phone and there was something there for me to see, then this prompt is reliable. If the phone buzzed but there was nothing there half the time, there was just like a phantom buzzing going on, then that is inconsistent and wouldn't be helpful in helping us respond back to that sound moving forward. The prompt, although sounds like nothing fancy, is actually the rock that holds the entire habit together. If the prompt isn't there, the rest of the habit isn't even going to start to unfold. But it's also the hardest thing to figure out. It's very individualized and it can be tricky to find the perfect one that's going to work for what you have in mind. A prompt isn't just a universal go sign for every single person. So let's say ice cream. To me, ice cream is the sound of a sweet, sweet, delicious treat. I love ice cream in the summertime. And if I'm driving past a place that has ice cream, best believe I'm going to be thinking about ice cream, probably going to get some. For someone who is lactose intolerant, for example, ice cream signals past memories of a lot of stomach pain and alone time in the bathroom. We are not going to be motivated in the same way to have that ice cream. So the prompts are very individual. I think that one kind of makes sense. The next one is action. Action is what we recognize as the habit. It's the reaching for the phone part to see what's up. The action is a means to an end. What we want to find out what the buzz is about, so we reach for the phone. The action's purpose is to change our current state to a state that we would rather be in. Hungry, you get up, you look for food, to not be hungry anymore. You're bored, you open up your TikTok app to not be bored anymore. You're cold, you put on a sweater to not be cold anymore. I think you get where I'm going with all that. Although this is kind of like the least glamorous and most straightforward part of the habit, we actually give this the most credit. It's like that person in the group project that barely did anything, but you just put their name on the project anyway and they also get an A. The world can be an unfair place. The last one is reward. Reward refers to the positive outcomes that the action brings. It's satisfying the cravings, and it also teaches us what behavior is worth repeating and what isn't. So let's say I'm thirsty. I drink water, my reward is that my thirst is quenched. It also felt good, so this is something that I'm definitely going to keep repeating again. If I had ice cream and my stomach pains came, this isn't going to be a great experience, so I'm not going to be marking down ice cream as something that I want to be repeating all too often. Now, if you're thinking through some examples in your life and you're thinking like, okay, well, what about this habit? And then insert whatever habit you've been trying to break. I don't understand why I'm doing this. I wasn't trying to build this. Why am I doing this in the first place? Many habits sneak into our lives without us actually trying to build them or even realizing that we're doing them. But it all makes a lot more sense if we think about it like this. We have wants and needs that we're trying to meet every day. So let's say we have 10 different wants and needs. Some of them could be very basic, like needing to keep yourself fed, drinking some fluids, and then it starts to escalate after that. Other ones could be like a need to have a social connection to someone, decreasing stress, boredom, dealing with danger, discomfort, failure, rejection, whatever. So we're looking at some of our habits and we think like, why would I be doing that? But the habit is just a means to an end. You want to take care of some of those needs that you have. So all the habits that we have developed are reliable ways for us to meet those wants and needs that we have. We will always gravitate to whatever is simplest, easiest, and most satisfying to us to get what we want. And there's going to be hundreds of different ways to get to the same destination. Our goal is to feed ourselves, but our brain, let's say, it doesn't care how it gets done. It's just like, call me when you got something for me. So you're constantly navigating through different options to handle this particular problem. We need food, but what does our brain want? What do we want? Do we want a burger? Do we want fruits? What is it? Our brain doesn't care. Everything gets broken down into parts anyways. So we wind up developing habits which we may not like, but because some habits are just easier and more satisfying for us, that's how they take root. Hence, we have habits that take like weeds and are really hard to break, while others require so much more effort. Usually, good habits that we want to adopt tend to not feel that great in the moment. Hence, it takes so long for them to take root. The bad ones tend to feel really great right now. It's kind of an unfair advantage. So now that we have a much better understanding of how the habits are formed in the first place, we can look at the ingredients that we need to make the habits that we actually want stick. So the first ingredient that we're going to need is a prompt, something which will signal us that it's go time. Ideally, this is going to be something that is easy to spot and incorporate into the routine. If you want to drink more water, leaving the water bottle full on the kitchen counter the night before is a really good visual prompt to remind you that it's time to drink. Every time you see the bottle, you're going to think, right, I need to drink some water. So one part of the prompt is that it's visible and hard to miss, and the second part that it incorporates well into the routine that you have, so you know when you need to be doing it. Also think about when this is going to be happening as well. Is it when I walk into the kitchen, the first thing, I'm going to grab the water and drink it before I do anything else? Otherwise, that lonely bottle might just be decoration for you most of the day as you're walking past it, trying to figure out when you should be drinking from it and what it's really doing there. It may seem ultra trivial to have to be so specific, but the less decisions you have to make, the clearer the recipe is, the more likely it's going to latch. Make sure that the prompt is reliable. If you want to use the water bottle, let's say, as your prompt, then make sure that you set it up the exact same way every single day until it starts to feel more natural. The second one is action. As I mentioned, the action is the actual habit. So if we're starting something new, then we have to think about how hard will this be for us. Chances are pretty good because you're going to get excited, and most likely you're going to make things more difficult than they should be starting out. Best way to make it stick is to make it as easy as possible. Reducing it to something very small and simple that it's almost too simple not to do. Start with maybe just one rep, or just the first step, or just 1 minute of something or something along those lines. In the beginning, it's more important just to get the consistency in and feel successful than it is to make a lot of progress or to do it perfectly. Reward is the last one. Now, in order to cement this entire sequence in, the reward either has to happen while you're doing the action or it has to come immediately after. It may not feel incredibly rewarding for you to do something ultra tiny, but that just means that you need to create a reward for yourself. It could be something really small, like just a smile when you finish, or a little yay or something like that. It doesn't have to be wild, but you do need to do something to acknowledge your success. This part might be something that you feel like you want to skip, but definitely don't. You need that positive feeling after completing your action to make sure to make it stick. It could take a lot longer otherwise if you're trying to skip through this and not do it. Now that you have the ingredients that you need, you just need to keep playing around with that recipe. There isn't going to be a perfect combination that's going to work for every single person, hence it's a recipe. You can adjust things how you like to make it to your own taste. Play around with it and try different things. See what you can create with the ingredients that you have. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Also a reminder that I'm on Instagram and TikTok if you want to follow me on there, and I will see you next time.